Hey everyone, welcome once again to Show versus Business. This is Theo Harvey and Mr. Benja back at it again. Look, we want to blame everything on Joe Rogan. This is the podcast for that one. We're going to talk about everything from what's going on in politics, entertainment, and how it's messing up our timeline. We even go in some details around some interesting things around basketball and what's happening out there with micro dramas. Yes, Mr. Benja, what else do we talk about? Anything interesting?
Oh man, well, we always talk about whatever we want to talk about, but we got some good things going on here. As you said, uh, actually, you said everything. I got nothing else.
Wow. Shots fired, guys. Look, if you like what you're hearing, please smash that like button, share, do some comments. We will probably talk about one of your comments every so often in our whole section called Comment Corner. So go ahead, give us some shout outs and we'll read your comment on the video and maybe put it out there and go like it later and share with your friends and say, hey, I got featured in a podcast. So that's what we do here, guys. So definitely, we're about to get into it. Mr. Benja, let's go.
Let's do it.
This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money with your host, the real Theo Harvey and Mr. Benja. So, Mr. Benja, how was your week?
Week was good, man. At least my part of the week. It's been kind of weird and apocalyptic and crazy out there, but my part of the week was pretty good, man. I started I adjusted my morning routine a little bit and condensed some things down to each other. So I didn't have any Saratoga water, but yeah, just my morning routine. So I get up, get a little spring in my step, do some things. Um, it's interesting how your morning routine and your night routine can help and hurt things. So just tweaking that a little bit got me a little extra energy, and I made a realization, which is a weird realization, that I kind of feel like Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network. Like when my mind was just going, I woke up, started doing this, doing that, and took out my little composition notebook and started writing down some stuff. And I had like the voice of Mark Zuckerberg from The Social Network in my head, like when he was narrating, and we had to do this and that, and we got the pictures from, when he did the whole Facebook thing. Uh, yeah, that was really weird, but I'm embracing my inner robot, I guess.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, I said it was good for me, man. The people around me, they were like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" I'm like, Psh, I'm on my shit.
Boop, bop, beep, bop. I love it. Get beep, bop, beep, bop. Get it done, son.
Yeah.
Uh, good, man. Yeah, hope you're moving forward. I mean, this is Q2 officially,
Yes.
2025. So I hope you're hitting the ground running this week and making it happen, Mr. Benja. So kudos to you. My week was awesome, man. Same like you, man. Q2, so I'm revamping some things. Got rid of some folks, changing things around, cleaning shop, get ready for Q2, bringing some new folks in. So, with the business side of things, so that's kind of I'm excited about trying to revamp and accelerate business as always. But man, this has been the week of basketball, man. Mr. Benj, I know I'm the sports guy, so
Yes, you are.
I'm going to give you the from my corner of the world what's happening. NCAA tournament is in full effect. Final Four weekend for those who know, they know. So I had the chance to just hang with the kids, man. They actually had the women's Final Four here in Tampa, Florida. It was UConn, South Carolina, Texas, and I can't recall the other team as at this point, but it doesn't matter. They didn't make it to the final two. And as we're recording this, UConn and South Carolina played here in Tampa, and UConn won. So it was just exciting. They had a whole kind of you know basketball entertainment.
Yeah.
I had my family laughing. We all went with the kids. I said, "How many games can you make up that involved a basketball and a hoop?" They had them all there. So, how far can you throw it? How fast can you throw? How many baskets can you get in one shot? How many can you get two baskets in one shot? Just
Yeah.
it was every kind of imaginable way, and they had all the corporate. We know from marketing they're called activations, right? They had all these different corporate sponsors there, and so basically you go on these lines and sign up for these contests, and
Yeah.
they get all your emails, so they're gonna text me to death, right, for signing up for these contests. But it is what it is. The kids have fun. We played a lot of basketball, and then the kids stayed up with me and we watched Duke lose to Houston in a thrilling final. Duke
Yeah.
was up by 6 points with 30 seconds to go.
Hmm.
They end up losing the game. So they made a couple ill-advised shots,
Yeah.
and the best player in the country, Cooper Flag, he missed the game winning shot, and so Houston beat Duke, and now it's going to be the national championship. So, and the kids were excited because at one time Duke was up by 12
Yeah.
points, and I said, "Hey guys, let's just watch." So I'm the dad. Hey, that's why you play sports. You play to the end. You never give up. And I was like, wow, I, I was proven right, and so the kids learned a lesson. So
Oh
yeah,
man,
man, it was good times. Good
that's
times.
good. You know, it's funny. I always, as a kid, I was as quite literal on certain things. You know, when people talked, and I always thought, I always thought whenever I heard UConn on the news or the radio, I thought for some reason we had a Canadian team coming from like the Yukon to play basketball with us, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, cool, Canadians, let's go." But
I love it. Yeah,
University of
top.
Connecticut, right?
Yeah,
Right?
they're top.
Yeah.
Yep. You got it. They're the top. Like Duke is one of the top college basketball programs, and UConn is the top women's basketball program. They've been around forever and always been up there. You probably remember Dana Taurasi. Does that name sound familiar at all to you?
No.
Okay. She's one of the most decorated women's basketball players. She came out of UConn, but I digress. But man, college basketball, it is a business, Mr. Benja. It's not like you may remember, your top high school player and you go to one of the top schools. It has gotten to a point where these guys are getting paid millions of dollars due to name, image, and likeness, also known as NIL. I talked about this before. So number one, they're getting paid, millions of dollars just to play basketball. So gone is that whole farce that they're student athletes, right? They're basically paid to play basketball at college at this point.
I'm not sure, I don't know how many of our viewers really are into sports like that, but that was a big changeover, at least, in terms of the rules and how things are officiated in terms of, well, you have a student, but he's not really paid. You can't do that. It becomes a whole thing. And now it's like, you know what? We're using the name, image, and likeness of this player and all these licensed properties, games, commercials, whatever else. We have to give them a little kick of something. And now that's growing, and they're continuing. As I understand, they're using new ways to kind of use that name, image, and likeness, right?
Yeah, I mean, this came out of a video game controversy. Ed O'Bannon, who was a basketball player for the UCLA Bruins, was upset that his image and likeness was used in the game NCAA basketball. So it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they ruled in his favor that it wasn't fair that they used his image for a video game, and he never got any compensation for that. And so that was the beginning of the end for this whole farce of a student athlete. So now these are professional people, albeit more amateur, right, than a full fledged professional, but they're getting paid like Cooper Flag, who's the number one basketball player right now. He's getting paid $6 million in NIL money, so he'll show up in commercials, local stuff there in North Carolina, things like
Hmm.
that, and he's averaging about $6 million just to play 20 basketball games. So it's crazy. And then add to the fact that so they all college players have 4 years of eligibility. That means they have 4 years they can play. Any one of them can, say, you know what, I don't want to play here at this school anymore. I'm out, and they can enter what's called transfer protocol. And so any other, and this happened because of the pandemic, right? A lot of basketball players couldn't get their full eligibility because of the shortened seasons and all that. So they got to a point where now every year, every team could be totally different because all the players. This happens lots of times. Every player can just be like, I don't want to play for this coach anymore and leave. And so now that coach has to go recruit. Someone said, unlike professional sports, you have like free agency every like 3 years or 4 years where they say, hey, I don't want to play for, Tampa Bay Bucks or Atlanta Hawks anymore.
Right.
Now you can say I don't play for this team every year. So you have some college basketball players that have been played for 4 different college teams, And because they get eligibility, they can sit out a year and come back. So some of these guys are like 24, 25 years old playing college basketball. It's crazy. It's crazy. They got a wife and kids, man, playing college basketball, getting $6 million a year. This is it's a new sport, man. So I know I went into the weeds on that, but it's just showing you how this has changed.
Yeah, no, this is great. I mean, I while we talk, I always, want to make sure I'm not talking too out of the pocket. And I'm just up here looking at some of these numbers, and this coach is complaining. I'm trying to this coach Thamel. He says I'm trying to spend seven figures on a guy, and I can't right now. Hey, what kind of quote is that? That's just funny.
Well, your coach, your old alma mater, Michigan State, Izzo, Tom Izzo, one of the top basketball coaches all time. Draymond Green played there and all that from Golden State Warriors. He complained so heavily on this because this became a big issue because they're in this tournament now, the NCAA tournament, right? Everybody gets excited about it every year. The transfer protocol is going on now. So you actually have guys who are playing with the coach in a tournament. And as soon as they lose, I'm out, coach. So it's just like, so now they know that they thought their player's coming back next year. So now Tom Izzo just, I mean, we'll put it in the show notes maybe, but he went off on this. He's like, man, what is this? I'm supposed to figure out what these players are coming and who's coming next, and I got to recruit and try to win basketball games. I'm like, yeah, that's just what it is. You're getting paid.
Yeah,
Most of the college basketball players and college football coaches and college basketball coaches, they're typically the top. If it's a state school, they're the top paid employee, getting tens of millions of dollars in money. So yeah, this is your job now. You gotta keep good players.
this is spreading all over. It's not just basketball and football. I'm looking at the College of Charleston. You know, Kieran Von Wick signed a deal with Under Armour to represent their golf roster.
Yep.
So all these other sports, golf, row, whatever else you can come up with.
Oh man, gymnastics. Livy Dunn, or Olivia Dunn, she's the top gymnast at LSU, Louisiana State University. She's
Hmm.
one of the highest paid nil folks out there, and she's a big time influencer, millions of followers. So yeah, it can affect. It's affecting all the sports right now, man. It's becoming crazy. So and matter of fact, it's even changing calculus how I'm thinking of it because I have kids. I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing some basketball. That it's almost to the point where why not take the risk, put a little extra money now, invest in them to get the training. If they like it, they get good at it because they could be teenagers and get six figure NIL money, and then that could really change their lives. Where it's like, yeah, you can go to college and all that, but let's get some money now for a skill that you built now. And then, if you want to change and do college, that's fine. But you may really enjoy it and get even better over time with it. And it's like it's totally kind of changing the calculation as a parent who, now some kids obviously that's just not them, sports and athletics. But if your
Hmm.
kid is halfway into it and is pretty decent, why not take that put a little extra money now for training and stuff. And these training programs aren't cheap, Mr. Benjamin. But let's say you put, $2,000 for a camp here, uh, 200 a month for some training here. So let's say you're all in, you're spending. See, this is the business person in me. All in, you're spending about $25,000 to train your kid, right? If he gets an NIL deal when he's 16 for six figures a year, man, you're like, I think that was a good investment.
I'm thinking about this in terms of what else could you pay college students for. And I know that there's like this weird relationship with corporations, at least in tech, corporations and programmers slash developers, where you'll start developing something. And I remember when I was at Michigan State, I met a Microsoft student evangelist. I forgot what they're technically called, but you know, everybody's doing their college thing. I was about to incriminate myself. Everyone doing all kinds of stupid college stuff in a college dorm, and I'm just walking around like, "Yo, what's going on?" Da, da, da. Hey, you met such and such? No, yeah, blah, blah, blah. We're talking. I walk up into this dude's room, and he's like, "Let me show you something cool." And he opens up his closet, and I didn't know what I was going to expect. Right, like clothes or just somebody passed out. I didn't know what to expect. Dude opens up his closet, and there's nothing but from the floor to the ceiling of the closet, it's stacked with Microsoft software.
Mm.
And yeah, sure, he was, giving out Microsoft software like he should have been, but he was also this like Microsoft dealer. So he was just like,
Hey, you want that new office suite? I got it.
"Hey, listen, dog, I got some blah blah blah. We get your you need to set up some networks. I got the." I was like, "Man, what is all this?" Yeah, it was just wild, but
It's crazy how the game has changed, man. Like the you heard of Travis Hunter? He's like one of the top football players. He just won the Heisman. Plays defense and offense in football. He has his own podcast, right? And so he's getting money for that.
yeah.
Um, you're talking about esports. So IMG Academy, which is the top athletic academy in the nation. I just put a link in our little chat window. They actually have an esports camp now. So they're not only helping folks with basketball, football, tennis, athletics, but hey, if you want to do esports, there's money there too. So we got a camp for you there. So it's getting to a point where it's like, you're really looking at your kids as like almost like the breadwinner and how you can help them achieve a sizable sense of revenue even before they're 18. And so is that a good thing? I don't know. Like, so it's kind of weird. It's changing the equation a little bit. So I always tell my kids, I tell my wife, I say, well, look, we got, I love them. If they like it, that's fine. But if they're not good, if they don't want to do this, then we have to be okay with that. Not look at it as, hey, this is a better path to a future that, because I'll be honest with you, Mr. Benja, I don't think the traditional path of corporate America that we travel down or just other paths is not the same, or going to college is not the same like it used to be.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think, thinking outside the box is going to be really important. So anyway,
I mean, I had to think outside the box when I was there to get into the game industry. Um,
exactly.
I'm not gonna. Speaking of the Mark Zuckerberg hacking, wow, we're bringing back some memories. Not that I did any hacking. I just did what was, necessary to do my stuff.
Did what was necessary under the covers.
But no. Speaking of like one of our topics this week, we are just going over all this stuff was, how things are. Well, before we get into all that, I was about to jump the gun a little bit. But yeah, no, you're totally right. Did you want to say anything else about like how just things are changing, or
No, I mean, those are the big things.
yeah?
One thing I did, I did want to bring up too from this week. Have you heard this new Netflix show called Adolescence?
I try not to hear about shows on Netflix, but go ahead. I
Well,
try to I try to
you
avoid
still
them.
have access to it though, right? You still have access to Netflix. That's how you watch all your Monkey D.
Yeah, yeah,
Luffy's, right?
yeah. Oh, he knows the full name. Yes.
Of course, come on now. One Piece, man. Live action One Piece, I'm good with.
Did you get
Foolishness.
did you get hype off the video I sent you or no?
I will confess I didn't watch it yet, so
Oh, okay.
I will watch it. Yeah,
Okay. No,
when I
there's just
watch
two
it, I
little
will let you know.
there's just two little videos that got me hype. Short clips. But yeah, no. What's this adolescence about?
Yeah, I'll be brief on this one. It went pretty viral. It's an interesting concept about a young 13-year-old kid who's accused of murdering his classmate, and it's told in what they call a oneer, or basically, it's all supposed to be a linear. You ever see what's it called, one shots, right? Where they kind
Are you
of
about
the
to spoil
camera
this?
tracks. Well, I'm just telling you the high level theme. There's not
Okay.
a spoiler to kind of get you interested in it, and it's like 4 episodes long. It's not that long, hour-long shows, but they're all set in this world. Each is a different day, and what's happened to this community, to this family, to this child, in this tragic incident, right? The reason I bring it up is because it went pretty viral, especially for parents who kind of deal with young kids and dealing with social media. But one of the things that came up on this was the manosphere. We've talking about this, the Andrew Tates and all that. Have you heard of this thing? Obviously red pilled. You heard of this thing called the 80-20 rule? Have you heard of that?
Pareto principle. Talk to me.
Well, it's really in relation to men and women. Is basically 80% of women are only attracted to 20% of men,
Hmm.
and this whole concept of there's the high worth men, and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And so when you kind of think about it, we were talking about this, before the pod, about workout videos and stuff like that. And you just wonder, he's like, man, is this how the generation is kind of perceiving relationships now, right? Where it's like, if I'm not in that 20% access, high net worth individual, the way I look, how I work out, my wealth, will I not have a partner if I'm heterosexual? And so I'm wondering if those are some of the things
Yeah,
that are kind of driving the manosphere, but more importantly, a lot of hate and negativity in the internet right now.
I can attest to uh, that like yes, that's happening, and also what's happening. We often talk about the men on this and continue talking about it because it's a weird thing. But what this does also is it puts this weird competition on the young ladies, where it's like, well, hey, if there's only you know room of 100 dudes, and we're only checking out 20 of them, then all of a sudden there's this weird competition, but amongst the women, like, well, hey, no, I talked to him first. How dare you do this and that and that? Um, and this kind of came up in conversation when I was talking to Andy, Chinese pirate. I was talking to him, and we were talking about how we would randomly find somebody in our feed that's like, you know, uh, just doing whatever. In
Mm.
this case, it was talking about Star Wars. So they'll be talking some young ladies talking about Star Wars, and you're like, she's kind of cute. Wait a minute. Go to her bio, check the profile. She got a link tree or a beacons there, and you're like, okay, step one complete. Let me click on that link and see. Boom, spicy link. And it's like, it's so, I don't want to say pervasive, but it's so pushed to the front that I started asking around, and I'm like, hey, you know, what's up with all the spicy? And it's like, hey, got to get attention somehow. Let's go. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm like, okay, interesting. So there's these two weird dynamics going on that are both damaging, I think. I don't know if adolescence picks up on that end of it or not, but it's,
It's of a piece, yeah, it's of a piece. And reason I just bring it up is because we had talked about the spiciness that shows up in our feed sometime, and how that's trying to driving things. And it's funny, a show on a streaming channel, or a streaming entertainment, Netflix, really kind of tied into this, what's happening in the
mhm.
social media. And so I thought that was kind of interesting, and that kind of leads to my final point of the week. So obviously we record this, we don't get a chance to break some news, but I don't know if you saw this trending, but SNL went viral last night. I don't know
No,
if you saw that at all. So I know who's checking for Saturday Night Live, right? And I don't know. I've been for the last 20 years. I don't know why I've been watching Saturday Night Live kind of religiously. If nothing else, just to catch up. It's the only show is like I don't know what they're gonna say, what they're gonna do, what skit they're gonna do. There's nothing prepared. There's no trailer for it. You just know there's gonna be some comedy. It might be funny, it might not. And so I always kind of check in to see what's going on. So it was funny. They had Eagle Wodum, who's one of the cast members of Saturday Night Live. She did this stand-up comedian uh, skit where she was going to say, "Hey, invite me to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I'm not going to roast politics. I'm going to roast the dinner." And so she just went off. It was kind of lame at first. She said, "Okay, she's going out there doing something interesting." But she did this skit where she had audience participation. So she did the whole, black woman thing where, guys, you know, they ain't. And then she left it blank for the audience to say, and they said loud, shit. So on live TV. And so it just went, and everybody busted out cracking up. She said, oh, y'all gonna get us in trouble. Y'all gonna get us fined. And so that went viral. So I say that to say two things. Number one, is a business. Let's be honest. So these guys know what they're doing. I have to believe that she baited them to kind of say that to get some push, because at that level they got to know they're going to have audience participation. And she did it before, right? In another kind of setup, right? And they said something like she wanted them to say. She said, a woman gets tired, right? So she got them ready to go to say something. So I think the way she set it up was to bait them, and to make it interesting and get people talking about Saturday Night Live, I gotta believe because there got to be such a such a machine at this point. And then also I want to say that it's interesting. That's one of the few shows that you can have one of the actors on that show, right? They're not ready for prime time players, right? They can easily change how they're perceived with one skit. She was like the safe black woman, shows up in sketches, does a few things that funny, everything. But now because she does this one thing, now can she pivot her career in a different direction in the show? And it's like one of the few opportunities people get to change how they're perceived in real time almost.
You know what that reminded me of? The the Wayne Brady Chappelle show skit.
Yeah, good point. There it is.
Like you think, hey, he's this one person, and it's like without doing anything out of the box or just madcap and stupid, that's obviously an attention getter. This was comedic genius to have Wayne Brady on the Chappelle show, totally changing up his vibe and his public image, and you're like, oh, okay, that Wayne Brady, he's so funny. I still like him. And people who didn't like him were like, yeah, that Wayne Brady, I like him now. It was weird.
I love how they do that. It's just changing how you perceive, and they do it all the time in different type of scenarios. But
Well, they
to do
try.
it on live, yeah, they try to your point. But to do it on live television like that, I thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah, man, a lot of interesting things happening right now, but it all kind of amasses to something that's not fun right now, unfortunately. So we'll talk more about this, man. We are definitely in the darkest timeline. But speaking of which, do you want to briefly go into Comic Corner?
Yeah. Comment corner.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so we always like to thank everybody for sending in their comments, flaming us whenever we say anything, right or wrong or whatever. I like the banter back and forth, whether it's on threads or in our YouTube comments or whatever. But we got one here from our trailers. People like commenting on our trailers, so thank you for that. We'll keep doing the trailers. We had two trailers. One was One Battle After Another, new movie coming out with what's his name?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and Urban Decay Lover is responding to something I said in the video. I was saying that it doesn't really tell too much of the story. Like I'm looking for a log line, like you know, abandoned kid finds a sword and becomes the powerful sword master. Now he's going to climb to the mountain and cut the head off the goat or whatever. There's like classic stories would have this log line that you really followed in the trailer as well. But this trailer just seemed more madcap and fun. So she responded to that, said, or he responded to that. Anyway, I wouldn't say the movie told you nothing what it was about. The beginning gave the tagline, Leo's in a revolution. Him and Tiana have a child together. Mom doesn't think highly of him. Ultimately, Leo lost his daughter and needs to find her. And then comes back with, yeah, a lot of random stuff going on in the trailer, but it did give enough information to ask what it was about. Yeah, I'm not going away from that trailer thinking anything about a story of somebody looking for you know, looking for his lost daughter. I mean, it may have been there, sure. I mean, it was, but it just didn't hit me like that. That wasn't the important part. Unlike Taken, right? Where you're thinking, oh, okay, Taken. It's even in the title. Somebody got taken. I'm about to go get him. So that's all I was saying. But a very good point, though. It was in there.
Yeah, I mean, there were some thoughts. My thoughts on there were, I I did get a sense that they had a daughter. I didn't know the daughter was lost, right? I didn't get that sense. I just felt like he was kind of like the outsider to this family and he was trying to fit in. And it was some goofball antics from, ensue, right? From that point, right? But I didn't get a sense that he had an objective to go find his daughter. It was just more, he was trying to be a part of this family more. So, but yeah, good observations. I mean, trailers, look, they're just there to entice us, man. I think, and it's not really to tell us like the whole, which I liked. I don't think it told us exactly what it's about, which I do find intriguing.
Yeah, it can be, but then it could also be just whatever. So there's a fine line they're working with here. Um, I do like that. I do like trailers now for how dense and specific they can be because they know people are going to go through and pick it apart and really try to piece things together.
Mhm.
So I do appreciate that they have enough information in there that if you really went through and picked it out, you're like, no, no, they showed this and this and this and then that and this and that. That means the story is. And you're like, oh, for the people that are looking for it, bravo. All right. So another one we watched was we watched Snow White. We weren't really talking too much about the trailer of Snow White, but we got a comment from Freak Master about some comments we made about Snow White. Wait, you made the Freak Master face.
If I like, sounds like there's gonna be a bounce song going with that, man. Freak
Freak
master,
Master,
get on the knees.
drop that Freak Master. Yes, you can tell we went to school in Florida. All right. Yeah. So Theo mentioned that he wasn't. The movie wasn't bad. You said that the movie wasn't that bad or bad as people were making it out to be. So Freak Master responded to that and said, just saw the movie as well. It definitely doesn't deserve the 1.5 IMDb rating. Overall, it was fine. The core elements were there. He Who was amazing in some places, and songs were fun as well. Who is He Who?
He needs to say hi ho. That's what he
Hi
meant
ho.
to say.
Oh yeah,
That's
amazing
the song.
songs. Hi ho, hi ho. You got me back
Hootie
in Florida.
hoo, he who. Hey, it's all the same.
You, I'm thinking Florida got me thinking about hee haw and all that. They used to
Hee
play on
haw,
TV.
hidey ho, hidey ho. Yeah, man, it's all the same.
All right. He says, yeah, he says, I like how they explain the name Snow White. Historically and royalty in Europe were white and pure because they sat around and did nothing. Also, the term royals with blue blood, blah blah blah. Um, Also, where the term royals with blue blood came from because it had to do with their whiteness and you saw their veins. Did not know that. Snow White being a maid has to work, which would make her go outside and would not allow her to be pearly white because of her having a tan. Interesting. So Snow White not being pearly white because she went outside, did that work, got a tan. Okay. I didn't see the movie. Did they present it kind of as a tan or a lower class of individual who wasn't like proper royalty? I didn't see the movie, so how did they present
Yeah.
that, Theo?
I missed that whole part that that's why she wasn't as white as she should be. I think so. The whole thing is the casting of Snow White was very controversial with Rachel Zegler being introduced as Snow White, who is somebody who is from Colombia, right? She's Colombian heritage, so she's a little and Italian a little bit, and so she's a little darker skin. So that was very controversial. So I think in the story they tried to make that make sense. Since her name's Snow White and she doesn't look exactly white, or pure white, whatever that means. So, but it looks like this, and Freak Master, thank you for your comment. I think you kind of along the lines. I think the unfairly Rachel Zegler, she did a great job, or not great. She did a decent job of playing for Snow White. It was passable. The movie didn't fail because of her. So I think that's kind of what I was getting at. And I think Freakmaster is saying the same thing. It wasn't just because of Rachel Zegler and her casting that and it was unfair that the movie got such a low rating. I think they just don't like her politics. A lot of folks were just kind of review bombing this movie and trying to bring it down
Yeah,
because of
the
her.
politics were another thing, but that is a heavy weighting. I'm looking at the IMDb ratings right now. Oh my god. Yeah, the IMDb ratings were pretty sad. It's like 1.6. That's low.
Yeah.
The kind of thing that makes people not want to go see it.
Well, again, there's an agenda here, and we talked about that last podcast. Go check it out. Where we talked about her comments during promoting of this movie. And we have some shorts on that as well. But yes, it was very controversial, and so I think it was one of the reasons why this movie got a lot of bad reviews. And there's just been this ongoing sentiment from certain manosphere, certain folk segments of the population that's just
Mhm.
going after Disney wholeheartedly. And so, yeah, stuff like
So here's an interesting thing. The critics gave it a 40%, and the fans gave it a 73%. Usually, if it
interesting.
was bombed like that, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes here. Usually, when the fans are against it, it's switched the other way around. But hmm, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the general consensus, as from both camps, it doesn't deserve the hate it got. Um,
Hmm.
it's not that bad as people are making it out to be.
No, I don't think
So,
it is. So I think it's definitely, something that a lot of folks enjoyed and can, have fun with. So thank you, Freak Master, for that comment. I appreciate it.
yeah, but oh, and to your point, I do remember where Adolescence. I remember seeing that from the one take, the cinematography and the camera that was pointed out. So when you said had I heard about it, that was the only thing I heard.
Absolutely. What's next, Mr. Benja?
Oh man, that's Snow White. I mean, that's kind of touchy, man. That's a little bit of what we have to deal with right now. Everything's a little touchy and tough. I mean, we were dealing with tariffs and protests, and like I heard there were protests, didn't even look at them until this morning. But we got anti-Trump protests going on. I think it's like everything is just going wrong for some reason. Everything feels bad. Is that just me? That can't just be me.
Mm, no, I think there is a sentiment that we're in the darkest timeline. I mean, well, look, I mean, this is not unlike everything. This is what Trump talked about, right? I mean, obviously, there's massive layoffs in the government. Removing folks that had certain privileges that protect us, like FAA traffic controllers, nuclear codes, things like that, and having to rehire people because they cut too much. So that was another thing. All these folks getting kicked out of the country for various reasons, and not doing truly due process, like clearly verifying if they have any right to be in America. Those are the things that are happening. And then now we just had economic concerns around individuals who, um, the tariffs, right, where he's going to rise prices. So what he's doing is tariffs. We don't have to get into too many details on this, but maybe we can if you want to. He's rising prices on anything that's coming into the US. So if you get avocados or something from Canada, or Canadian bacon, he's raising prices on those imports, so that when people have a choice between getting Canadian bacon or American made Canadian bacon, they would choose American bacon because it's cheaper. And that's the theory. And then, but what the problem with raising tariffs on imports is because we also export things to Canada. If they see we have tariffs coming in, they're going to raise their tariffs as well. So we're not going to be able to export as much like we used to. So it could create what they call a trade war, where everybody's raising tariffs and nobody's importing, exporting as much. And you can slow down and shrink economies because you're not trading stuff, you're not moving things fast. Money likes to be a river, it doesn't like to be a pond. Ooh, that's bars. I like that. Money likes to be a river, it doesn't want to be a pond. So that means it needs to flow. And because you are kind of now keeping everything in house, it's going to be harder and harder to sell more stuff because there's only a certain amount of people that can buy here in the United States. And so, anyway, make a long story short, yeah, economists are saying that this could be right, raise inflation, cause deep drive us into depression and more, recession. Excuse me, not depression, but who knows? And then more importantly, we lost $6 trillion in the stock market in the last 2 days, so everyone's stock portfolio is in the red right now. So yeah, it does feel like a bad time, Mr. Benja, if you want to sum it up.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on. I didn't just mean tariffs causing the bad time. A lot of bad times, and we're kicking it off with tariffs just because we're seeing these protests and the recent effects in the stock market. Um, it's really bizarre because we were we were looking at this from a kind of a far away thing, and we're trying to figure out, what's been hit and what have we been talking about. We were talking about politics with the tariffs, the protests, the unease, the political gamesmanship going on from the politics side and from the tech side. We're seeing AI, getting rid of jobs, being overused, being blamed for environmental concerns, and um, everything's going wild over there. And in entertainment, it's Hollywood is flipping on its head. All these other things are happening. It's like so much is these are big three big fields, markets, industries, tech industry, political industry, and entertainment industry, all kind of triangulating together all at once in not necessarily the best way. Um, and I'm honestly kind of, struggling. I don't know how exactly to jump into all of this, but we can blame Joe Rogan. That's fundamentally what I wanted to say. We could all blame Joe Rogan for all of this because he has definitely affected tech, politics, and entertainment. Um, we were kind of joking about that before the podcast, but it's kind of a funny take, just because of his relationships with Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and the shifting American landscape. So while we joke about that, it's just an interesting fact that somebody can just start talking and he has more power than all of what we thought was powerful before, like in terms of mainstream media or whatever. But
And the funny thing is, he's come out and been against these tariffs, right? And so, and he has single handedly, well, not single, yeah, probably between him and Elon Musk, by having um, Donald Trump show up on his podcast for 3 hours and present as a regular man that people feel confident enough to vote in. Oh, he's not crazy. He should be okay. Uh, he was able to, I guess, what the center him, I think that's the term they use now. Say, hey, this is he's not on the extreme. He's a guy you can talk to, right?
I can trust that guy.
Yeah, I can trust that guy. Have a beer with that guy, right? And now because he centered him and platformed him, right, and all that, and gave him a voice into the internet. Now he's doing Donald Trump is doing all these crazy things. Now Joe Rogan is like, I don't want all that. And let's be honest, Joe Rogan was for Bernie, right? When Bernie ran in
Yeah,
2016.
yeah, it
And
totally
so
was.
it's kind of like this is very interesting where we are now. And so is he having remorse for platforming Trump, or I don't know. I don't think he will ever say that. I mean, he's powerful enough on his own, but I do feel like there is a turning point happening in after this uh not even 82 days or so into the presidency of Trump that's changing things.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of folks who platformed him on their, and we may talk about Ben Shapiro too later on, but these folks are starting to figure out that, this, we made the deal with the devil, and now we got to lay in it. So anyway, Joe Rogan, is he to blame? I would say he takes some blame. He takes some blame.
Did they learn nothing from Omarosa?
Wow. Go watch first season The Apprentice, everyone. You'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah, man. Well, we talk a lot about entertainment and whatnot. And one of the big stories that came up is how Hollywood ain't it. And it's just so many stories after story after story. The old Hollywood way of doing things isn't working. So all of entertainment is changing. And I used to think entertainment was just kind of this thing that's like, oh, people go to the movies or buy games or whatever. But it's definitely a key into how people work and how they understand life, and how we enjoy ourselves reflects a lot, and it plays a lot into how the world runs, right? Um, so we started looking into it, and one of the things I found out was about Real Short, Drama Box, and Drama Wave. Have you heard about any of those?
I have not.
All right, so real short drama box and drama wave are blowing up uh, on someone's phone that may not be yours. You may not have heard of this, but basically, they're short form TV show platforms where you can go and watch movies, go and watch series, but they're all in these short form vertical formats. So imagine like, a 30-second episode where some person bursts in the door and he's like, "You stole my wallet," and the other person stands up and he's like, "Wait a minute, what are you doing here?" Dun-dun. And this crazy stuff happens within like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or whatever. And
Mhm.
it's like, on the next episode, you're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
But these are blowing up. And they're called micro dramas. And in China, they've been blowing up slowly for a while, but they kind of fizzled out in America after Quibi bombed. Quibi was a whole platform for that kind of stuff. But in China, they're blowing up, and a lot of people I talk to are actually into this if they didn't know about it already. Um, so this is fascinating to me. I don't know, Theo, micro dramas. You into this?
No, but I think I've seen a few on the shorts, YouTube shorts. They pop up, and you click on it, and it seems like it's a continuation of a story. And I'm like, I ain't got time for this. Or it's like, hey, this guy meets a young woman or something like that. And you're like, okay, and then it's like, okay, yeah, come back to my apartment later today, and it just ends. So I'm like, this is very interesting. I don't care enough about the story to continue it, but I think, I mean, yeah, this is where we're kind of at, man. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? As someone who doesn't watch as much, long form stuff as I do, I watch a lot of long form stuff. Even I find myself bored with some of this stuff if it
Yeah,
doesn't keep my attention long enough, and that's why adolescence got my attention because these long takes they kind of demanded you pay attention because things that
yeah,
never end. So it's like like these long form storytellers are trying to find ways to keep your attention. Like another show I watch is called The Pit. Is very similar where
hmm
uh, they always just when things start getting boring, here comes a new emergency. Someone lost a leg, or then they start talking. Oh, someone lost an arm. Oh, someone's got heart disease. Heart attack. So it's just
yeah,
like every 2 seconds, just when you think it's gonna get bored, there's like another emergency, and the doctors are rushing to save their lives. So it's like long form storytelling is realizing people's view of the story is changing, or content is changing, or their relationship with content is changing. So you have to spice it up if you want to keep their interest in long form. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Are you a lover of short form content?
I like the idea of it. And I say that because I spent a fair amount of time reading Instagram comics where somebody would basically have, a couple panels of a comic and you just say, "Oh, here it is. It continues the story." Okay, Dog Man jumps over the fence, breaks into the back doors, and not Dog Man. I just used him. That's an actual kid's character.
Oh yeah, I know.
Um,
I know, Mr. Benja. I know. And I went to go see that movie. Was not good.
oh man. Um, yeah. So I'll send a link. I was about to. The character's not in SFW, so I won't say
Yeah.
out here. But anyway, um, yeah, this these little dramas or not comics. You got 10 panels or 12 panels or whatever, and you just kind of swipe through them really quick, and you're like, "Huh, that was cool." And then you wait a little while, and it shows up in your feed again. It's like, boom, there it is. Swipe, 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 swipe. It's just really fast, and you can just kind of take it and be done with it. But every time it shows up in your feed, it's like you want to get that hit again. So it works for comic strips. So I
Mhm.
guess if you think of like, we used to have the newspaper and it'd have the, 3 panels of Spider-Man, and you're like, how do you tell a story of that? But if you've been reading the newspaper long enough, after 6 months, you're kind of invested in Spider-Man's story, which is really weird that it would 3 panels a day just seems stupid. But over time, it's like, yeah, I'm involved in the story. So micro dramas are doing big. As I said, it was in China. Now it's starting to spread, and most of these stories, in case you haven't heard of them, are coming from, I would say, the spicy Lifetime drama crowd, maybe,
Mhm. Mhm.
if that's what you
Mhm.
want to call it. Breaking the Ice is one title. My Secret Husband is another one.
There you go.
Sit Down, Be Humble with your subtitled Hidden Identity. Here's another one, a new release. Baby, You Had It Coming.
Damn.
Mm, spicy.
Oh man. Yeah, there's if you ever watch Lifetime, yeah, for those who don't know, Lifetime channel is the channel where women go to watch a woman get beat up, lied to, cheated on by a man, basically. They have every version of that. They had one, now about my daughter lost at a game, he never loved
Oh man.
me. I mean, these are the titles of Lifetime movies. So there you go. Lifetime now has a 3-page comic coming to you on the interwebs. Love it.
Yeah. Um,
I
that
mean,
link.
well, I guess women are into this. Is that what you're pretty much the premise of this? This is
No, that was the what I was saying is just that. Well, that's the audience. It's not like I'm over here watching anime. I'm over here. You're watching sports. I may watch some science fiction or travel show or whatever. It's not hitting any of those markets. It's you know, sit down, be humble. You
hmm
know, tearing up the spots. And yeah, as I said, I even asked a lot of women just in Instagram. I was just like, let me just plow through all of these shows. Hey, would you be interested in this? Hey, would you be interested in this? Hey, would you be interested in this? And they were all like, hell yes. And I was like, hmm, like short form, really quick. I don't have to make much of a commitment. It's right there on my phone. In fact, as I got responses, I was actually thinking, oh, that's kind of what those little romance novels do anyway. Where it's like you sit down and you bought your coffee, you sit down, flip through a couple of pages. Okay, you got to get back to work, and you put the book away. I'm like, that there it goes.
Oh, there you go. I mean, I didn't know there was a billion-dollar industry in China during the pandemic, so it's definitely there's money there. But you know what, Mr. Benja, the niche, quote unquote, niche markets are everywhere. Look at Tyler Perry; he's worth $1 billion, and he has a some movie every month on either Prime, Netflix, or BET Plus. Matter of fact, I think I talked about my uncle is on one of those shows that's very trashy, uh, very interesting, and
Trashy.
just my wife, she always says I don't want to watch it, it's terrible, but she ends up watching every one of those movies that come out when they come out. And he said they're a good concept, but the dialogue is repetitive. Just but he's worth $1 billion, and for a reason. So he knows his audience well enough to keep him engaged, even though the storyline may not be the best. So I think Hollywood ain't it is so true. If I may pivot a little bit, when we talk
Go.
about this, I think Hollywood ain't it because movies suck right now. We talk. I'm the one that kind of sees the movies every so often. I had the wonderful opportunity to go see Minecraft movie that came out this weekend. It's doing well in the box office, relatively well, 140 million global in the box office. But the movie sucked, Mr. Benja. I went with the kids. We saw the trailer. We commented. Go check it out. Our comments on the trailer. I think I was not too excited about it, and it showed. I mean, Jason Momoa was terrible in it. I don't even know why he was in there. You had Daniel Brooks, who's pretty good in uh, what's the one with John Cena? The dang, what's the movie? The TV show. But she was in Orange and the New Black. What you call it?
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. Yep,
No.
she was good
Oh,
in
oh,
that.
was that okay? That one.
Yeah, Daniel Brooks. She's in Broadway. Good. I don't know why she was in that. And then they had Jack Black, who yeah, he can be funny at times, but it was like he was doing so much exposition. Luckily, I have my 9-year-old next to me, Mr. Benja. I never felt so dumb watching a movie in my life. I'm like, what's that? So not only was it the movie explaining to me, but my son had to explain to me what the character just explained to me. That's how terrible it was. And I was trying to explain to him, I said, movies shouldn't be that much exposition on what lava chicken was or what this was or who this character was and this and that. And I'm trying to think, was Mario Kart that bad? I don't think Mario Kart was that bad with all that exposition, but it was way too much exposition because inherently, I don't think Minecraft has a sense of a villain or any character arcs or anything. It's just you do stuff right and you just do
Yeah,
whatever you want. And there's no, movies have to be bounded, right? Whereas,
yeah.
video games are unbounded if they set them up right. And so when you have no boundness, you have to bound a movie. And I don't think they did that well. And you have Jack Black over here doing exposition in a loud voice every 2 seconds. And it was just, I'm like, why am I watching this movie?
So I'm wondering if part of it was just the fact that it went viral because of all these silly audience reactions. Like I'm looking at my phone right now because it was it was talking about all the audience reactions, like when they got in the wrestling ring and you know it's like here it comes, and everybody like starts cheering at certain parts. I'm like, how do you make a Rocky Horror Picture type of audience reaction opening weekend? It, it it's interesting to me. So,
Well, but then that's our premise. Is are they making the movies just to create content for social media now?
oh yeah, that makes sense. Interesting.
It's not like it's for. I mean, maybe that's helping to promote to go see the movie, and it's an event that you can be part of a social media event.
Yeah.
Like we talked about Megan. That kind of got people hyped and watching the movie. But it's not like you watching the movie just to watch a movie. It's to be a part of a social media experience. And so, just like Barbenheimer,
All that wicked singing too.
yeah, the Wicked scene. Yep, you see what's happening. They're just creating these events. So Hollywood ain't it, man. I mean, and it's getting to a point where it's like, I mean, it's what does it even mean to be a movie star anymore, right? Yes, they still have publicists, they still have agents, so they can still move the needle somewhat. But I just don't think they move the needle as much as people think. Unless you get a viral moment, like you said, out of that. And that just goes to me. So recently, they just had the CinemaCon convention in Las Vegas, where they have all the trailers and get you excited about all the movies coming out. A couple of movies that we talk about here. I felt like when they kind of announced it, I'm like, I don't know, these gonna be good. So this is in that vein of Hollywood ain't it. Spider-Man was the new Spider-Man 4 movie was announced. It's called Brand New Day. Mr. Benja, do you know anything about the comic book of Brand New Day for Spider-Man and what it was about? The storyline? Basically, Spider-Man made a deal with the devil to save his Aunt May, and the deal with the devil was that he would no longer be married to Mary Jane, and he had to start from scratch.
Oh, that storyline. Okay,
Horrible
I never read
storyline.
through it.
It was a horrible storyline. No one liked it. It was up there with the Clone Saga. Remember that crappy storyline with
Spider
Spider-Man?
clones. Yeah, yeah.
Spider Clones, yes, it was up there with that. And so immediately got retrocon and went back to the status quo with him being back with Mary Jane. Why on earth was MCU take a terrible comic book idea and try to make it into a movie? I get why they're doing it because, in essence, after No Way Home, that's where Spider Man is. No one knows who he is. He's starting off from scratch. But to even use that same connotation from a comic book that was not popularly received just reeks of stupidity from Hollywood again.
Why? Yeah, man. I kind of get it, man. Hollywood has been doing some sucky things, and I don't know. I didn't know about that. Um, but that seems like a bad storyline to go off of. And I think somebody mentioned Mephisto.
Yes, well, the devil.
Yeah, as the quote unquote devil. And if that's some sad attempt to get people who were mad at WandaVision for the Mephisto uh, links in the graphics, they had Mephisto kind of hinted some in WandaVision. Everybody thought Mephisto was going to show up. So now it's like, hey, let's give him Mephisto, and it's like that's not that storyline.
Just don't. Not like this. Not like this.
Not like not like this.
not, not like this. Um,
James, if we ever do that, not like this, we're talking about the Matrix meme, by the way. I hope you get not like
uh,
this.
anyway, yeah, man. And then Superman trailer was shown at CinemaCon. Now we've already talked about Superman trailer before and the teaser, but this was a 5 minute Superman trailer at CinemaCon. Um, Mr. Bidget, have you seen this on the interwebs yet?
I saw it, but wasn't interested enough to watch it. It's 5 minutes, and it's like one of those things when you know when you're supposed to be into it already, and someone's like, "Hey, you know, I can show you 5 minutes," and you're like, "Why are you trying to show me 5 minutes? Shouldn't I be interested anyway?" And so I was like, "I'll get around to it." And 2 days passed since it was out, and I saw the link, and I just haven't clicked it yet because I don't want to sit down and watch it for 5 minutes. Not because I don't want to get spoiled, but because why are you giving me a 5 minutes? I don't trust it.
Yeah, it just reeks of desperation, man. I had the opportunity to see it. I can talk about it briefly, and go check it out if you want to. But it does reek of desperation, kind of give you the vibe and what they're going for. So basically, everything we saw in the trailer with Crypto taking Superman, but it's just more longer. He's basically seeing Crypto drag him across the sand into the Fortress of Solitude, which takes 2 minutes to do. So that's half the running time. Crypto dragging Superman through the snow. Sure. Then you see these robots coming in and helping him into this little specialty seat. And then you see these little magnifying glasses like amplify the rays, the sun's ray. Because basically the way Superman gets healed is he gets more sun. Basically, that's he doesn't go to the hospital, guys. He just gets more sun, and that's how you heal Superman. And you just see Superman, filling up the rays of the sun, and
Yeah,
then the rest of it is pretty much everything we saw in the teaser. So that's pretty much it, Mister Benja. You're not missing anything, but it's just kind of like, why?
it,
Why is this?
it,
Is this getting you hype? I don't know.
yeah. Did they need a test? Did they need to test out like, okay, let's see what the reaction is? I'm wondering if they're just like, hey, let's test more of this stuff out before we just go balls to the wall with it.
Well, it's James Gunn. You know it's gonna be weird. We already see the Green Lantern's going to be in there. Guy Gardner Green Lantern, who's
With
out
that
there
haircut, which I actually,
with the bowl haircut. Yes,
yeah, I so that's
Mister
interesting. I
Mister
like that, but I'm interested.
Mister Terrific, who's obscure kind of character, which is he's a cool looking character, but very obscure.
I
Hawk
don't think they're gonna make
Girl.
him cool at all here. I'm mad at that already.
Yeah, yeah, that's sad. And that actor, he never gets a cool role. He played. Remember, he played in X Men First Class. He said, "I can't die. I just evolve," and he got killed in the first minute. But anyway, kudos to that actor. I know, hey, it's a job. But anyway, Hawk Girl's gonna be in it. They show that. I mean, a lot of weirdness. Probably some Brainiac stuff is going on. Lex Luthor, just a lot, man. And so, I don't know. That's just the test of the weirdness that we're going to see. I mean, Zack Snyder has some weirdness too, right? The whole Kryptonian like bath that Lex Luthor got in. I mean, that was weird. So I don't know, man. This which is fine, but James Gunn. Look, he's weird out there, but he does have a sense of what makes interesting stories and stuff. And did you ever see Brightburn at all?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think of that? And he didn't direct it, but he produced it. James Gunn.
No, I thought it was. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good and decent watch. It wasn't like good. I don't go recommending Brightburn to anybody, but if that's a category you need to see, say, hey, check out Brightburn. It's pretty good.
Yeah, an evil Superman story, and basically, leads up to an evil Justice League story, which hey man, that's a good concept, man. But anyway, so yeah, I think Hollywood ain't it. And look, Joe Rogan of it all. Joe Rogan was in Hollywood, right? He was in TV. He did Fear Factor. He left Hollywood and moved on to podcasts. So maybe he knew where everything was going.
He's very clearly said that Hollywood has serious issues and he didn't like it out there. And he was just like, yeah, let me pack up and get out of here and just done.
Yeah. So Joe Rogan once again is to blame everyone for all our problems. Don't
Yes.
forget. All right, Mr. Benja. Anything else before we get into these trailers?
Nothing else, man. No, we've spoken about AI enough on other podcasts, so we can leave that. But yeah, if you have any ideas on like, Hollywood, we may do a more of a deep dive on like the Hollywood numbers. We wanted to talk about how YouTube is getting bigger than Disney. It's the biggest media company out there right now. And yeah, between Netflix, these micro things, micro dramas coming out, YouTube doing what it's doing. Yeah, old Hollywood is dead and something's happening, changing in the water. And you know what? It might be the thing that really uh, I don't want to say helps people, but helps people. This is where our entertainment goes. And it's like, you know what? If I can find some new types of entertainment that's not so, I don't know, Minecraft movie ish, than this overly produced meme of a movie, I don't know. Maybe something good can come out of that.
Well, yeah, I like how you ending this on a hopeful note. We talked about tears and all the politics and all that. There is John Hope Bryant out there putting out a blueprint for America. What he calls his Dream Forward plan. He was on the Breakfast Club talking about that, how a diverse economic plan for a diverse economy can really help flourish, and that's really important. So he put a blueprint for it, a blueprint for that out there. And so I think that's something that can give me hope from the economic politics standpoint. And then to your point on the creative side, Hollywood side, it's always been times like this when things you didn't think there was creative, there was no creative energy. It seemed like everything was the same old. But people have always said that about Hollywood, right? When they were creating books, people say, "Oh, they're just ripping off books we already read. That's just retread, right?" Or all the sequels that people do. Oh, it's just sequels. People are tired of watching sequels, or all the superhero movies. Oh, look at all these superhero movies. It's going to kill Hollywood. So we're just in a fallow period, and maybe there's something to your point that's going to emerge that will be an innovative art form that we will enjoy.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I was serious with that. With meaning, how it connects with this. When we, you used to go home, and you get the family together for a Friday night movie. Saturday Night Live used to be a big thing. When you're at home, it's like, hey, end of the week, I'm gonna watch some Saturday Night Live and laugh on a Saturday night. Friday night videos. It was just the seasonal thing where movies come out, or you had comic books that started their big thing. It's like, hey, you know what, I'm going to get up in the morning. Why? Because I'm going to go to the comic book shop, buy 5 comics, and just chill with my friends, and we're all going to read comics and talk all day.
Yeah.
I'm going to come home and I'm going to watch the rest of this Netflix series, and then I'm going to talk about it in my Facebook group. You know what, I'm going to go pick up this new manga that I got and discuss it with my manga group, whatever. There's always just some entertainment that gets you up in the morning. Where you talk, I still get up and play some silly game just to get myself started in the morning. I'm gonna click a few things here and there in Farmville and be like, you know what, I planted strawberries today. I'm feeling good. All right, I can turn this off now. Whatever.
Yeah.
But all right, we got trailers.
Which one first, Mr. Benja?
All right, so as you know, we do our trailers here. We have 2 here that we're going to run through. Tron, Aries, or is it Aries? God of War, Aries, I suppose. Tron Aries official trailer. Haven't seen it. Didn't really know it was this close to coming out. Don't know the release date on it. Don't have that available because I prepared nothing for this podcast. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Tron Aries official trailer only in theaters October 10th, 2025. You ready, Mr. Benja? Let's
Yeah,
get to it.
I am ready. Let's get this started. Tron Aries official trailer coming out from Disney in 3, 2, 1, play.
Motorcyclist exceeding speeds of 120 miles per hour. Last seen heading northbound.
Unit 12, acknowledging dispatch. Already in pursuit.
Oh.
Run it.
Dang.
I'm looking for something. something I do not understand. Ready? Because there's no going back.
Of course.
Oh no.
Music by Nine Inch Nails. I'll be getting the soundtrack.
I mean, it looked cool till Jared Leto showed up.
Dang.
I mean, you know, he's okay actor. I mean, but it's just like, sure. But it looks good, man. It does look a little hokey though to see these images in the real world though. When that, I don't know what that thing's called, but the big structure, she's running from the
Yeah.
structure. I'm like, now the cycles, cool as hell. Always
Yeah.
has been.
Yeah, they made the unfortunately, I did think of the movie Pixels when I saw
Yes,
the big
yes.
Tron ships coming through the.
Which was
And I'm like,
terrible.
did I see kind of a make out of a frowny face on that on that ship? I mean,
Was not good. So yes,
yeah,
yeah. If you don't see Pixels, was it Adam Sandler? Terrible movie.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah. So I would give it a 4 if I'm going to see it. I probably will because that's what I do. But I don't know. It doesn't seem. It seems like a sleepy movie because the last one I saw, the remake they did, you know, with the de-age version of
right.
Jeff. Is it Jeff Daniels? No, it's the other Jeff. But anyway, it'll come to me later. Didn't gel with me, so we'll see. IP.
Yeah,
This is the part of IP. We talked about this IP index. This is
yeah.
Tron IP is on the lower end of like IP they're trying to revive. So we'll be
Yes,
curious to see if I don't know if this movie's gonna do it.
it's been falling off, man. But that is some strong IP. I think if they, once again, it's one of those things where you said if they really did it right, it would work. You know, but yeah, when your big evil overlord monster has kind of a frowny face painted on it, it's like, oh, you had me with the cycles, but that I'm not so sure about. I do right off the bat, I do like the concept. So,
Okay.
them bleeding into the real world
Hmm.
somehow, or the simulation extending, however they play it. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but interesting stuff. You ready for the next one?
Let go.
All right. This is the Naked Gun reaction. We've got an official teaser coming out with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. Haven't heard from Pamela Anderson in a while. Have you seen this one, Theo? This trailer?
Well, August 1st is when it's coming out, so I'm curious to see Liam Neeson's. Is he funny?
We will find out in 3, 2, 1, go. MPAA.
Multiple SWAT units responding to hostage situation.
Kick the pew.
Hey, little girl, stop! What do you want, little one?
Your ass.
That's the sound of the police! That's the sound of the king!
Who are you?
Frank Drebin, Police Squad. The new version.
That's the sound of the police!
Hi, Daddy. It's me, Frank Jr. Love you.
Hey, Dad. Boy, do I miss you.
Sound of the police!
Oh.
I got the safety
Mr. Bitch, what you think, man?
Okay.
You quiet, man.
What are they? I don't get it. I don't get it.
I like it. I like it.
And this is and this is from a person who really likes some dumb stuff. I
Did
just
you
don't
watch the
get.
Naked Gun movies at all? Do you remember those?
Yeah, yeah.
Police Squad, all that
Full
crap.
body condoms. I remember that.
Uh, what don't you like about it? What is the vibe you were looking for?
Okay, so the style of the humor is it's hard to put into words, but that style of humor just seemed very you know um, oh, I got you. Oh, this is a callback. I don't know. It just seemed very you know aha kind of funny, and it's like I don't know, it wasn't that funny. I don't. It didn't even look like it was not funny. Like I needed to laugh at it, but I'm just
Mhm.
like, why would you think that's a good joke? I don't know. Maybe I'm in a mood.
Um, I liked it. I mean, the little Girl Scout coming in, and the whole Mission Impossible face reveal, and he still got the outfit on, the
Okay,
tummy out. I thought that was hilarious.
what would have been funny is if the little girl walked in and she said, "Hey, look that way," and everyone turns around. She takes off her mask, and then it's like a bad cut. You know what I mean? Not like a good cut. Not like they used somebody with VFX decided to make Liam Neeson grow because that was like, what is that? You
Oh,
do
I
a
see what you're
bad
saying.
you do
I
a
see what
bad
you're saying.
cut, and they're like, oh, it's Liam Neeson or it's Frank Drebin Jr. And it's like you're supposed to be like, hey, wait a minute, wasn't that just a little girl? How did a little girl take a mask off and become that? But no, they had to do some CGI weirdness.
I get it wasn't that bad.
No, it was terrible. That was one of the worst trailers I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm just letting it out
Damn,
there right now.
I
That was
love it.
bad,
I liked it. What about the whole OJ joke at the end?
stupid, just
They set it up right. Everybody, he was saying, "I love you, Dad." They had like actors, and unfortunately, every actor they showed and had passed on from the original series, and so, and then
mhm.
obviously with the young black cop with OJ, yeah, didn't doesn't age well.
Yeah. Which is another thing. Like, why are we throwing? First of all, throwing dead people under the bus, not really my thing. Whatever, sure. Uh, it's just that was just dumb to me. Oh my god.
Oh man, this is
I'm like, why?
OJ. It's OJ. I mean, what you caping for OJ out here? Oh, James, put that in the pod. Mr. Bitch is caping for OJ.
James, don't listen to him. But I mean, yeah, okay, I guess so. Um, that's going to be it. I don't know. It's just dog. I'm struggling here. I was like, why is this so bad to me? Ugh. And how long does it take to get to a joke? Hey, little girl, don't go in there. And stabbing somebody with the sharp end of a lollipop stick. It's like,
Well, that's not the joke. I mean, he's Liam Neeson, so we gotta see some taken action. That's what I wanted to see, just that mix. But Seth
sure.
MacFarlane, Family Guy, all the stupid stuff he does. That I think he's directing or writing it. So I'm sure there's some Seth MacFarlane. Do you think Seth MacFarlane is funny?
I don't think he should be doing this.
Okay, well, and now that it makes sense
His
now. Why
humor,
Liam? Go ahead.
his humor applied to this is, yeah, I'm not digging that. Something about, and this is me holding on, I guess, to the type of humor from the original Naked Gun movies. I think this is too much of a departure. It doesn't feel like Naked Gun to me. It feels like the characters,
Hmm.
but in some other kind of humorous movie.
Hmm. So you want stupid things like um, He said, "No, I want to drink it. Don't call me Shirley or something like that. Or I have a drinking problem." And keep throwing the water in the face. Did you see?
Oh, your airplane references there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's just God. This was bad. I can't explain it.
All right, we'll leave it there. But it's funny. I liked it, so Mr. Benja did not. So we'll see how it does in the box office. I think it would do pretty well in the box office. But what do I know? Just something about it. I mean, comedies haven't been working in box office, but we're in a different world now where comedy can be a little bit more edgy. So if this goes edgy there with some stuff, like you remember the original, well, this wasn't Naked Gun, but it was in that vein because I think the Zucker brothers or whatever, they did Airplane, and they the whole remember that whole thing where the black folks are talking jive, and they were just
Mm-hmm.
jive, turkey,
Yeah, it was
turkey,
airplane.
mother, and then they had this white lady say, I talk jive, let me help you." And so she was translating for everybody else. So it's just
Yeah.
that's very racist, but funny. I mean, yeah, I had to say it, but it was funny to me. But anyway, so we'll see how edgy they want to be now that we're in this post Trump world, how edgy they're gonna be on comedy. Because comedy hasn't worked as well in movies and the theaters lately. So
Um, and the use of KRS-One, Sound of the Police, sacrosanct. Never should have gotten near this movie.
damn. Okay. Shots fired.
Yeah, I feel like almost running up the original Naked Gun trailer, but we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah. All right, guys. Mr. Benja, I think we're going to end it here. So, everyone, please like, subscribe, comment at Show versus Business on X, Threads, wherever you listen to podcasts. Uh, listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, all the great podcasts and other areas that you can understand more about what we do and what's going on. Also, go visit us at our website at Show versus Business. All right, Mr. Benja, have a good one.
Peace.